Hello, dear adventurer, and welcome to the first Gamebook Guild gameplay series, and let's hope not the last. I don't think it's going to be the last. It's an experimental series so far. So like I said in my The Caverns of Calte review, I would be doing this as a way of experimental in an experimental way. So I would say that the experimental part is more like in the setting of the whole thing that I prepared here a couple of minutes ago, and not the part of the gameplay, because I want to do gameplays. I want to do gamebook gameplays in this channel. And why am I speaking in English? Some of you may ask, since my content has been entirely in Portuguese so far. That's because the game book that I'm going to present today is in English. And like I said in my The Caverns of Calte review, the books that are written in English are going to be presented also in English. So if a game book is in Portuguese, I'm going to present it in Portuguese. But in this gameplay series, in this playlist that's going to be on YouTube, I'm going to put between brackets, I think it's called that, in between parentheses, that this series will be in English. And what is this series that I'm going to present to you? I'm going to play for some episodes, and let's hope it's a lot of episodes. I'm going to play the Fabled Lands series. Actually, it's a personal favorite of mine. For an experimental series like this, I shouldn't come with a complex series like this. And I should start with something smaller, with a small game book to test all the settings and the way things can work out in details of in a matter of game books, and the way I interact with all the elements that I have at my disposal. But well, on the other hand, Fabled Lands is such a wonderful series. It's an open world. It's an open world game book series. And if you wonder how it is possible for a game book to be open world, well, that's what I wondered myself when I first heard about this game book series. Because the Fabled Lands series is it's an open world experience that spans for several books. Unfortunately, the series hasn't been finished so far. It started in 1993, I think. I'm doing this by head. But what happens is that it's a game book series that spans several books, and you don't have to start by the first one. We are going to start on the first one. We're going to start with the easiest one, but you don't have to start on the first one. You can start at each point of the series. What happens is that the Fabled Lands spans an entire world, an entire fantasy world. It's called the Fabled Lands, and each book will cover part of that territory. During our adventure, which doesn't have a clear goal, it doesn't have a main objective, it has several objectives, it has several quests, a lot of quests indeed, in fact. But when during a gameplay, if you cross to another part of the map, you cross to you cross to a different part of the map that is not covered in the current book, that the text will say which book you have to open and which reference you have to go. And it works. You put the book you're reading currently, you pick up the intended book, let's just say the second book, for instance, and you open on the reference, and you can continue that way. And if you decide to go back, you put that book down, you return to the previous one and continue that way. We're going to experience that during this gameplay, and let's hope we do not have an untimely demise in the first book, because the Fabled Lands series is full of adventure, is full of many things. It has, oh my god, this actually it's a very wonderful and very wonderfully crafted series, and wonderfully crafted world building. This game book series was written by Dave Morris and Jamie Thompson, and except the seventh book was written by Paul Gresty, and I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. I have the game book series here. Yeah, that's right, Paul Gresty. And um, so far it has been only 7 game books published. Let's hope the other 5 uh, will be published as well. But the first 7 books already gives us an enormous experience, and that's the sort of experience that we are going to have in these Game Book Guild gameplay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to present the game book. I'm not going to fill the character sheet, because the character sheet is already filled with the character that um, I have chosen. But I'm going to give you a quick explanation of the rules. The rules are not very that complex. The series is complex, but the system, the rule system, is not that complex. So let's just change to the okay, now I'm going to change to this layout solo so that you can see the book. This is the first book, The War-Torn Kingdom, and we are going to start with this one. So as you can see, I will start by showing you the map of the Fabled Lands. So this is the map of the entire Fabled Lands world. So yeah, you can see that this is massive. And if the 12 books are ever written, then this are ever published, then this means that our character can traverse the entire world. And at the back of the book, we have the map of the land that we are going to explore. We are going to explore in this book, which is called the Land of Saqqara. So as you can see, we have a lot to cover. Okay, so how do this game book series work? How does Fabled Lands work? We have, let's just open the, yeah, the rules are just like a couple of pages long. It's not that big, but let's just start with the abilities. You have 6 abilities. As new character, we have 6 abilities, which are called charisma, combat, magic, sanctity, and scouting and thievery. The charisma is the knack of befriending people. Combat is the skill of fighting. Magic is the art of casting spells. Sanctity is the gift of divine power and wisdom. Scouting is the techniques of tracking and wilderness lore. And thievery is the talent for stealth and lockpicking. We don't have to establish scores for these, because they are all automatically given to our character based on the profession we choose. And what professions are these? The professions are priest, mage, rogue, troubadour, warrior, and wayfarer. And as you can see, each has already their scores already settled. So we don't have to roll the dice to determine these scores. Then we have the stamina. And as it says here, stamina is lost when you get hurt. Keep track of your stamina score throughout your travels and adventures. So we start with 9 stamina points, and this can and will change through the course of the adventure. Not only for less, but to more. We can increase our stamina score. Then we have the rank. The rank is like the level of our character. We don't have an experience point. We don't have an experience-based rules, because we don't have the experience points, but we have ranks which act as levels. And we start on the first rank, which is called as an outcast. So we are outcasts at the beginning of this book. Then we have possessions, and what matters about possessions is that we can only carry up 12 possessions at a time, with a sword, a leather jerkin, and a map. A leather jerkin will. Oh my god, this is bugging me. Okay, the leather jerkin will give us already a +1 defense, and we are going to talk about defense next. And we have also 16 shards. The shards are the currency of this series. So whenever we want to buy something from the market, buy or sell something, we deal with shards. So we start with 16 shards in our possession. The defense score is a special score that is not related to the abilities. So our defense score is equal to our combat score, our plus our rank, plus the bonus for the armor we are wearing. And that's actually all we need to know for this, for starting the Fabled Lands series. We have also here the rules for fighting, rules for using abilities, rules for code words that we have here. We have some questions answered as well. And we have here a page for the quick rules. So it's just a summary of the rules we have just covered. So before we start, like I said, I already filled the adventure sheet. This is an adventure sheet that was created with the sole purpose of being like a PDF version, so that we can write as much as we want without spoiling any paper, without because we do a lot of writing in these adventure sheets. So in this you can see already that my character is rogue. We are outcasts. We have already the ability scores. We have 5 of charisma, 4 of combat, 4 of magic, 1 of sanctity, 2 of scouting, and 6 or thievery. And our possessions are the sword, the leather jerkin with a +1 defense, and the map. We have here 16 shards, and our defense is 6 because it's our combat, which is 4 plus 1. The first one is the rank 1 outcast, which is 5, and plus the leather jerkin, which gives us the 6. I can show you as well that this document also has a list of all the keywords that exist in all the 7 game books. So whenever we are asked to take a code word, we can come here and cross the according code word. And we also have the ship's manifest. What is the ship's manifest? During our adventures, we can and probably will buy ships and buy cargo and maybe doing some business with that cargo, just traverse from other places across the sea, explore the ocean, the violet ocean, the violet ocean. I said violent, I don't know why. And we can buy and sell cargo. We can do a lot of things with our ship. And we have here several notes. And then we have the tick boxes. And we have all the tick boxes that are present in all the 7 game books. But more about tick boxes later when we get to one in the adventure show. So without further ado, let's start reading the game book, War-Torn Kingdom. Let's hope you can. I don't know if you will be able to accompany the reading, but let's hope so. This is actually only experimental. Let's just go along with it and just have fun, because this is a very very fun adventure game book series, and you're gonna see why. Let's hope so. Let's hope we can cross a lot of places to go. If we can go to a lot of places during these adventures. So let's start with the Gamebook Guild gameplay, episode 1 of the Fabled Lands. The approach of dawn has turned the sky a milky gray-green, like jade. The sea is a luminous pale pane of silver. Holding the tiller of your sailing boat, you keep your gaze fixed on the glittering constellation known as the Spider. It marks the north, and by keeping it to port, you know you are still on course. The sun appears in a trembling burst of red fire at the rim of the world. Slowly, the chill of night gives way to brazen warmth. You lick your parched lips. There is a little water sloshing in the bottom of the barrel by your feet, but not enough to see you through another day. Sealed in a scroll case tucked into your jerkin is the parchment map your grandfather gave you on his deathbed. You remember his stirring tales of far sea voyages, of kingdoms beyond the western horizon, of sorcerer's islands and ruined places filled with treasure. As a child, you dreamed of nothing else but the magical quests that were in store if you too became an adventurer. You never expected to die in an open boat before your adventures even began. Securing the Tyler, you unroll the map and study it again. You hardly need to. Every detail is etched into your memory by now. According to your reckoning, you should have reached the east coast of Harkuna days ago. A pasty gray blob splatters onto the map. After a moment of stunned surprise, you look up and curse the seagull circling directly overhead. Then it strikes you. Where there's a seagull, there may be land. You leap to your feet and scan the horizon. Sure enough, a line of white cliffs lies a league to the north. Have you been sailing along the coast all this time without realizing the mainland was so close? Steering towards the cliffs, you feel the boat shudder against the rough waves. A howling wind whips plumes of spindrift across the sea. Breakers pound the high cliffs. The Tyler is yanked out of your hands. The little boat is spun around, out of control, and goes plunging in towards the coast. You leap clear at the second. There is the snap of timber, the roaring crescendo of the waves, and then silence as you go under. Striking out wildly, you try to swim clear of the razor-sharp rocks. For a while, the undertow threatens to drag you down. Then suddenly, wave catches you and flings you contemptuously up onto the beach. Battered and bedraggled, you lie gasping for breath until you hear someone walking along the shore towards you. Wary of danger, you lose no time in getting to your feet. Confronting you is an old man clad in a dirty loincloth. His eyes have a feverishly bright look that is suggestive of either mystic or madman. Get the code word Auric and then turn to 20. So we have already an instruction here to tick the code word Auric. So we come here to the code words and look for Auric, which is here, and we tick there. So as you can see, we already have our first code word. Code words will act as a way to record our experiences in the adventure. So probably the fact that we opened our adventure in the Wartorn Kingdom, that means that Auric will be something important that's related to this in the future. Let's hope so. So let's continue with the number 20. Well, 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 what have we here, friends? Asks the old man. He seems to be talking to someone next to him, although you are certain he is alone. Looks like a washed-up adventure to me, he says in an answer to his own question. All wet and out of luck. He carries on having a conversation with himself, a conversation that quickly turns into a heated debate. He is clearly quite mad. Excuse me, you shout above the hubbub in an attempt to grab the old man's attention. He stops and stares at you. Is this the Owl of the Druids? You ask impatiently. Indeed it is, says the old man. I see that you are from a far land, so it is up to me to welcome you to Harkuna. But I think you may have much to do here, for it is written in the stars that someone like you would come. Your destiny awaits you, Follow me, young adventurer. The old man turns smartly about and begins walking up a path towards some hills. You can just see some sort of monolithic stone structure atop one of them. Come on, I'll show you the gates of the world, the old man babbles. So now we have the first choice of the adventure. We either follow the old man, we either explore the coast or head into the nearby forest. As far as I know, we have a couple of things to do. We can do a couple of things in the Isle of the Druids. We don't have to follow the old man because we eventually can go to the to those monolithic stone to that monolithic stone structure that we saw right now. So I'm not going to follow him, but what I'm going to do is explore the coast. So let's go to number 128. You make your way around the coast. The interior of the island appears to be heavily forested. After a while, however, you come to a bay in which a couple of ships are anchored. A small settlement nestles on the beach, and you make your way towards it. Turn to 195. Okay, 195, 195. Okay. Gain the code word Aspen if you do not already have it. Okay, so let's put here the code word Aspen. Okay, so the trading post is a small village. Let's align it with the camera. Set up here by enterprising settlers from the mainland. Its main export appears to be furs from the forest. The mayor, a fat, genial fellow, who greets you personally, insists that one day the trading post will be a thriving town. There is not a lot here yet, however. A small market, a quay, the settlers' houses, and a shrine to Lacuna, the huntress, goddess of nature. So, what will we do right now? Will we visit the shrine to Lacuna? Visit the market, visit the quayside, visit the Green Man Inn, or climb the hill that overlooks the town, or go inland into the forest? What should we do? We are in a trading post. We are in a small village in the Isle of the Druids. Okay, so what should we do now? Let's try to visit the quayside. No, let's visit the Green Man Inn first. Inns are very interesting places because that's where the many information is kept in those places. So let's go to 181. Okay, the Green Man Inn costs you 1 shard a day. Each day you spend here, you can recover 1 stamina point if injured, up to the limit of your normal unwounded stamina score. So nothing's happening here. So this is just a way for us to recover stamina by spending shards. We haven't lost any stamina yet, so there's nothing to do here in the Green Man Inn. I thought that would be. So let's go to the quayside now. Now let's go to number 332. Okay. The quayside at the trading post it's bugging. I don't know if you are watching this or not. I will continue reading. The camera is bugging so a little bit. But like I said, this is very experimental. This whole setup can change anytime. Okay, so the quayside at the trading post is a simple affair without the harbor facilities or the shipwrights of large ports. There are no ships available to buy here, but if you already own a ship, you can buy and sell cargo. So as you can see, we have cargo that we can buy or sell if we have it. But since we are starting our adventure, we still don't have a ship, so there's nothing we can do so far. Um, so let's continue with this section. It says here, prices are for single cargo units. Fill in your current cargo on the ship's manifest. You can buy a one-way passage to Yellowport from here at a cost of 15 shards. If you own a ship and wish to set sail, turn to 155. If not, turn to 195. Okay, one-way passage to Yellowport. We have 16 shards. We have 16 shards with us. So we can buy a passage to Yellowport, but I don't want to. And since I don't own a ship, I must go to 195 and visit another place in the trading post. Okay, so let's see. Now let's visit the... there's not many things to see. Let's visit the Shrine to Lacuna. Let's go to 544. Okay. The shrine is set in a wooded grove. Birds twitter in the trees, and a deer darts away into the forest as you approach. A priestess is standing alow, and drink has been laid out in honor of Lacuna, the goddess of the wilderness. She is the patron of hunters, trappers, woodsmen, and all those who seek oneness with nature. So we can become an initiate of Lacuna, renounce the worship of Lacuna if we are an initiate. We can seek a blessing, we can talk to the priestess, or we can leave the temple. So let's talk to the priestess and see what she has to say. Animal turn to 369. We don't have the code word animal, so we don't turn to that number. If not, we read on. The priestess, dressed in silken robes and wearing a wreath of oak leaves, says, I have need of an adventure like yourself, for arcane reasons involving the secret mysteries of Lacuna, of a boar, a were-boar in fact. I believe they can be found in the Forest of the Forsaken in northern Golnir. Hunt down a were-boar and bring me a boar's tusk. In return, I will teach you how to be a better scout. If you accept the mission, acquire the code word animal. Okay, so this means that we must... Golnir is the place of the second game book series, which is called Cities of Golden Glory. We are not going there in this episode, and probably not in the next couple of episodes, but this is what this is the quest that we are going to accept. So let's tick the code word animal. So here it is, as you can see. Here we have the code word animal. Oh, my pen is going to... Oh. Okay. So let's continue. Let's continue on with our quest. So we accepted the mission. Now let's return to 544. Okay, I don't think we can become an initiate of Lacuna. Well, let's just try to see what happens if we try to become an initiate of Lacuna. Yeah, becoming an initiate of Lacuna gives you the benefit of paying less for blessings and other services the temple can offer. It costs 30 shards to become an initiate. Okay, that's out of the question. We don't have 30 shards. You cannot do this if you are already an initiate of another temple. If you choose to become an initiate, write Lacuna in the god box. Okay, no, we cannot. We cannot become an initiate of Lacuna, so let's leave the temple and go back to 195. There's not much to do, but I promise you that in other cities, there's a lot to do. Okay, so now we are back at the trading post. Let's go visit the market. We can come here later, but let's just see what we have at our disposal in the market. 452. Okay, the trading post has a small marketplace in the village square where half a dozen stalls sell a few goods. Items with no purchase price list are not available locally, so we can buy things like leather armor, which we already have. Uh, we can buy ring mail. We actually don't buy. We cannot buy because there is no price, but we can sell these to in this trading post. We can sell weapons because we don't have we cannot buy weapons. We can buy a sword, for instance, but without the combat bonus, so it's actually the same as the sword that we started this adventure. We can buy okay, we cannot buy an amber wand, but we can buy a mandolin for 300 shards. That's actually very pricey. It's very pricey, and none of the items available to sell to buy actually is available to us, because we can buy a compass for 500 shards. We can buy a rope for 50 shards, and we can buy a lantern for 100 shards. That's a lot. That's a lot. And spoiler alert, you can buy a house for 100 shards in this gamebook series. Yeah, you can buy a house for the same price as a lantern. Yeah, that's ridiculous, but yeah, that's how the game is played. Yeah. So let's get back to 195, and let's climb the hill that overlooks the town. Okay, let's go to number 11. Okay, a narrow path leads up the hill, the top of which is crowned with a circle of large obsidian standing stones hewn from solid rock. Despite the bitter wind that blows across these hills, the stones are unearthed and seem but newly lain. They form three archways, each carved with mystic symbols and runes of power. Turn to 65. Let's turn to 65, and oh, we have an illustration here of the place. There are three stone gates engraved with ancient runes. Each gate is marked with a name: Yellowport, Marlock City, and Wishport. From here, you can see the coast and the whole of the island, which is heavily forested. Okay, so we can explore the coastline, we can head into the forest, step through the Yellowport Arc, step through the Marlock City Arc, or step through the Wishport Arc. These are actually teleport arches. So if we step through one of these, we go to the according city. Two of those cities, two of those towns, are from this book. The other is not. It's from the second book. We are not stepping through the arches right now. There's some exploring to do in the island, so let's head into the forest. Let's see what we can find in the forest. Let's go to 257. Okay, it's 257. The trees are closely packed, leaning together as if in conference, whispering quietly among themselves. Birds twitter in the distance, and slivers of sunlight then lance down through the musty gloom. As you proceed along a forest track, you think you hear a rustling in the bushes. Later, you spot a shadowy figure darting through the trees. Or was it your imagination? An animal snuffling sound right behind you makes you spin around, but there is nothing there. Make a scouting roll at difficulty 10. Okay, so how do these ability rolls work out? So we have several abilities, and each ability has their own scores. And when we are asked to do a certain ability roll, we are given a difficulty. In this case, it's a difficulty 10. What we have to do now is roll two six-sided dice, and we must compare and we must add to our scouting score, which is 2. We have a 2 of a scouting score. And in order to win this test, our roll must be higher than the difficulty. So let's just, I'm going to confirm, because I think it's yeah, we have here the chapter using abilities. Fighting is often not the easiest or safest way to tackle a situation. When you get the chance to use one of your other abilities, you will be told the difficulty of the task. You roll 2 dice and add your score to the ability, and to succeed the task, you must get higher than the difficulty. So you must not get equal or less than difficulty. So that means that you would fail the scouting roll. So how are we going to do this? We are going to here. We are going to the dice roll in Google to roll the dice for us. So let's roll 2 dice and compare with our ability. So to recall, we have a scouting of 2. So in order to win this roll, we should roll a total of 9 or higher. And it's not an easy task. Our first ability roll is not an easy one. So let's just roll the dice and hope for the best. And we have a 6. 6 plus 2 equals 8. 8 is less than 10. So our first roll is a failure. So yeah. Okay. So let's just get back to the oh, I'm sorry. I'm going to put this layout solo. So since we failed the scouting roll, we go to 36. Soon you realize you are completely lost in this strange magical forest. You wander around for days, barely able to find enough food or water. Lose 4 stamina points. So let's, okay, so 9 minus 4 equals 5, so we have 5 stamina points. Okay, let's continue. Turn to 128. This is not starting that well for us. You make your way around the coast. The interior of the island appears to be heavily forested. After a while, however, you come to a bay in which a couple of ships are anchored. A small settlement nestles on the beach, and you make your way towards it. So we just got back to the trading post. It's 195. Okay, get the code word Aspen. We already have that code word. So let's just climb the hill. There's not much that we can do here. If we had a starting scouting score, a bigger scouting score, we could win that scouting ability roll. But I'm not going to to risk it again, losing more stamina. So let's climb the hill that overlooks the town. We go to 11, and then from 11 we go to 65. We already read those references, so we don't have to read them again. And now, shall I step through the Yellowport Arch, the Marlock City Arch, or the Wishport Arch? I will step through the Yellowport, the Yellowport Arch, because this is, for many people, this is a very easy town, like a starting town in which you can get easy money. Let's hope so. So let's step through the Yellowport Arch. Let's go to its 8. Okay, you step through the archway. Immediately, the symbols on the stone begin to glow with red-hot energy. Your hair stands on end, and your body tingles. A cracking nimbus of blue-white force engulfs you. The sky darkens, and thunder and lightning crash and leap across the heavens. Suddenly, your vision fades, and everything goes black. When your sight returns, you find yourself at the gates of a large city, set on an ochre-colored river. A vile stink of brimstone permeates the air. You wrinkle your face up in disgust and gag involuntarily. "Welcome to Yellowport," says a passing merchant. I'll turn to 10. Okay, let's start. If you have the code word assassin, turn to 50 immediately. We don't, so we keep reading on. If you have just arrived in Yellowport, tick the first empty box above. And it says use a pencil. But I'm not going to use a pencil. I'm going to tick the code. I'm going to tick the tick box in this document. So yeah, we have 4 tick boxes here. So yeah. The boxes are a record of the number of times you have visited the city. So every time we arrive at Yellowport from outside, we have to tick one of the boxes. If this is your 4th visit, turn to 273. If you have visited the city fewer than or more than 4 times, read on. So let's first tick the number 10, which is actually the first one here. We have tick boxes for all the game books so far in the Fabled Lands series, all the 7 game books, so we don't have to write in the books. Yellowport is the 2nd largest city in Socara. It is mainly a trading town and is known for its exotic goods from distant Ancon Cornu. The stinking river brings rich deposits of sulfur from the lake of the sea dragon down to the town, where it is extracted and stored in the large waterfront warehouses run by the Merchants Guild. From here, the mineral is exported all over Harkuna. Unfortunately, all that sulfur has its drawbacks. The stink is abominable, and much of the city has a yellowish hue. The river is so full of sulfur that it is virtually useless as a source of food or of drinking water. However, the demand for sulfur, especially from the Sorcerers Guild, is great. Politically, much has changed in the past few years. The old and corrupt king of Socara, Corin VII, has been deposed and executed in a military coup. General Grieve Marlock and the army now control Socara. The old council of Yellowport has been indefinitely dissolved, and the provost marshal, Marlos Marlock, the general's brother, appointed as a military governor of the town. You can buy a townhouse in Yellowport for 200 shards. Okay, it's not 100 shards. I thought it was 100 shards, but actually you can buy a compass for 500 shards. So yeah, and a house for 200. It's insane. Owning a house gives you a place to rest and to store equipment. If you buy one, tick the box by the townhouse option and cross off 200 shards from your adventure sheet. To leave Yellowport by sea, buy or sell ships and cargo, go to the harbor master. If you have the code word artifact and the book of the 7 sages, you can turn to 40. We don't have either. Otherwise, choose from the following options, and we have a lot of options here. Before we finish the episode, I would like to say that there's a lot to do, and I think we are going to explore Yellowport in the next episode. I know we didn't do that much. I thought we would be going to explore the Isle of the Druids, but we can go back there. We can go back there I wouldn't say anytime we want because we need a ship, but we can go back there, and let's hope our scouting score is a little higher so that we can explore the unexplored areas. And let's not forget that we have a quest that we started already. We have to find a boar's tusk. That it's not in Socara, it's not in this game book, it's in the next one. But let's just do some adventure and exploring in this land, before we cross to Golnir, to the neighbor town. So let's just stop for today. We arrived at the Yellowport city, Yellowport town, and well, that's it. We will continue. We will exploring Yellowport in the next episode, and let's hope do some quests. Let's hope to probably, if we have time, maybe we can explore. Let me just maybe we can explore outside of the outside of town. Let's hope so. Let me put this in layout solo. Like I said, this is very experimental. This is very experimental. I enjoy doing this, and I want to do this more often. I would like to bring more game books, and in this setup. But let's hope. Well, if it's not possible, I will have to think about anything. Okay, so if you enjoyed this video, please give a like. If you didn't like, you can give a didn't like. You can do whatever you want. You can write your comments. Use the comment section to write, give suggestions, to give your opinions. If I should continue these game book sessions, if you like the setting, I really don't know if the technical issues that happened during this episode, if they will be if they will maintain in the when you watch this. Let's just hope not. But if you like this, please subscribe to the channel, ring the bell to be notified about next videos on the Gamebook Guild, either Gamebook reviews or these Gamebook Guild gameplays. So I would like to continue this. Next time we will exploring Yellowport in the Fabled Lands series. There will be other Gamebook Guild gameplays in the future. The next playlist will be in Portuguese. It will be a Portuguese game book. Not a Portuguese game book, but will be a game book that was translated in Portuguese. So I will pick up that game book. But so far, I will in this playlist we will continue exploring the Fabled Lands. So this is the first episode of the Fabled Lands series. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.